Yeah. You gotta work. You gotta work, grind, shine, it's mine. Gotta show everybody it's my time. Getting here, you gotta work, grind, shine. Never mind who talking down, cause they lie.
Welcome to Let's Talk with Carl Lee. Join Carl alongside frequent co-hosts Lisa Odie and Hollis Lewis as they explore dynamic conversations with guests from all walks of life. Let's Talk is proudly brought to you by attorney Frank Walker. Real talk, real experience, real results. Visit frankwalkerlaw.com. The conversation starts now. This is Let's Talk.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Carl Lee with Let's Talk, and I have Hollis Lewis.
What's up? What's up?
And Lisa Odie, who are my co-hosts of the show. And ladies and gentlemen, we have I'm going to say a spectacular guest.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Today, we typically, and I'm not taking anything away from our past guests, but I think this one is to me pretty special, and I think Hollis is going to do the intro.
Yeah, we got West Virginia basketball legend, former Tennessee volunteer basketball player, first round draft pick, Alexis Hornbuckle. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How y'all doing today?
Doing well.
Doing great.
Alexis, one of the interesting things that I have from being from West Virginia, playing in the NFL, and when people try to talk to you about like what it's like, what it's all of that, can you kind of give people the insight of what your experience in the WNBA was and is to you even today?
To really put into work, because you can dream it, right? Obviously, a lot of athletes do in all sports, but very few reach that level or reach that their goals when it comes to that level. And so, like, when you hear your name called or you see it go across the screen, however it goes for you, for me being there and hearing my name called at number 4 overall, like, I was just teasing from ear to ear. Full disclosure, though, we won the night before, and then the draft was the next day. So I was also rocking off like no sleep. So it was very surreal, but it's just this overwhelming feeling of just like joy, elation, and even that sigh of relief. Like, okay, I'm here, you know.
All right, I'm going to ask one more tough question probably, and then I'll let everybody else jump in. When did you know that you were that lady? Like you when they call your name, you get out on the court and you're like, oh, yeah, I can do this. And not only can I do this, I can do it at a high level. When did you get that moment? Or did you get that moment?
Yeah, I got that moment. And it happened really young for me, honestly. It happened I was like 9 or 10.
Ooh.
Wow.
And I started playing organized basketball and soccer when I was 4, and I did travel soccer too. But we came back from a national YBOA tournament. We were the first team from West Virginia to win it. Ended up in Sports Illustrated Faces in the Crowd, and I'm just like, wow. Like I'm all right. Like
nice. I'm all right.
Well, you're more than all right, and
for sure.
And I'm just going to start it here now again. So sometimes we do our little barbershop debates and all that, and this is Hollis, and a lot of times we here in West Virginia, and I guess any state would do it. They always talk about who's the greatest basketball, football player,
Yeah.
I would say, this is my opinion, that Alexis Hornbuckle is the greatest basketball player, men or women, ever in the state of West Virginia. How would you respond to that? Don't give me the humble, because you know I work with your cuz. Don't give me the humble.
You asking me to not give you something, but that's just who I am. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
I would definitely say I ain't gonna argue that. You know,
okay.
I'm not gonna disagree for sure. and I would gladly, humbly accept that. I do definitely feel like I put in the work, and if we're going back, just looking at it statistically or on papers, yeah, I think my resume kind of exudes.
Because I mean, let's look at the paper though. Let's look at those statistics because we got because you went to 2 different high schools. So you went to Capital first, then you go to South Charleston. You won 2 championships at Capital. Am I correct?
Correct.
You won 2 at South Charleston. Am I correct?
Correct.
Common denominator.
Yeah, 2 different schools. So
Same person.
4 straight championships in high school, which is probably unheard of, except for, maybe way back in the day or something. McDonald's All-American, high school All-American. You go to the program at the time, which was Pat Summitt's Tennessee Volunteers. So I would say the Lady Vol. Excuse me. I would definitely say I think you could hold that title, and I would argue anybody down with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, I appreciate that.
Hey, Alexis, this is Lisa. So thank you for coming on to the podcast tonight. So one of the things I wanted to add to what Hollis was just saying was one of the experiences that you had, and you are you are the only one that had this experience, was in 2008 when the Lady Vols, the University of Tennessee, won the national championship, and then the very next year you win another championship with the WNBA with Detroit Shock. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So how was that experience? I mean, I'm sure you were just elated about all that.
Oh, yeah, it was. And again, it was something that was surreal. Like 2008 happened. It was a lot that happened in 2008. So it happened relatively fast.
Your head was spinning. I said your head was probably spinning.
Oh, most definitely. It was definitely spinning. And it was just hard to really take it in because at that point in time, as far as just mentally and where my mental health was, like I was just really programmed for like, what's next? What's next? Okay, we did that. What's next? Just chasing championships, chasing success, and winning because I hate to lose. So it was just like it took me well into a couple months of being in Istanbul, Turkey, my first year overseas playing for Beşiktaş, to be like, oh my gosh, like let me run that back real quick. Like it was wild. It was wild.
When was the first time that you actually, let's say on the court, you really, let's say you done something, won the game, did whatever that made you think like, wow, like, like I really am this person? Because I think there's a difference in reflecting on being good, being great, being the best, and then in a moment that something actually happens to make you say, yeah, I guess I really, really am. Do you have that moment?
I can't really pinpoint it because it didn't really happen for me, like in a game, right? It's more at the park.
It happened at the park?
Yeah, like street ball, because, once you can compete and hold your own, especially as a girl, like it hits different. Like, oh, I'm scoring at will now. Okay, I can lock down. Okay, I can read defense better. I can, my angles are getting better. Like just understanding the game, moving at a faster pace, getting stronger, being able to make tough shots. Like all of that for me was really happening from playing outside with my brother and like in the neighborhood and stuff.
Yeah, and I want to talk on that because, going from and I talked about high school where, like I said, you were a prolific basketball player here in the state of West Virginia. I think you averaged probably 30 points, probably a darn near triple-double maybe throughout your whole years in high school. Then I can remember watching you at Tennessee, and I could see how your game had changed where you had become sort of an all-around, not only contributing on the offensive end, getting rebounds, getting assists, being a lockdown defender. Like when you had the transition in your game, how would you sort of express that? Because I know you do a little coaching too. So how would you tell kids, like, if you're going from one level to the next, your game has to change. But that doesn't mean that your production, that you still won't get the shine that you need.
Yeah, just for me, my father taught me how to like evaluate the situation, know your role, and then go dominate, right? So in high school, I had to be that player, right? I had to do it all. I had to on both ends of the court. in college, yes, I had to do it, but I also didn't have to do it because I'm playing alongside all other McDonald's All-Americans and high school All-Americans, Gatorade All-Americans.
Yeah.
So I like to win, like I said. So if you're a true winner, if you're a true competitor, you know your skill set and you're confident in what you do. And you stay coachable so that you can learn how to adapt to any type of structure, any type of system, any type of team. Because things will change. Your game will have to evolve. It may have to get sped up. You might have to get stronger. You might have to study more film because your basketball IQ isn't at the level it needs to be at compared to your counterparts. There's just things that if you think you got it figured out and you ain't won not a championship or a gold medal or you ain't already drafted or in the Hall of Fame, then you're doing it wrong.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
And I think that's
For
applicable to any athlete.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. So,
Absolutely.
Oh, for sure. Alexis, so I know 2008 when you were drafted into the WNBA, it was early in that actual league. And so now we're in the year 2025. What are your thoughts on the growth and future of the WNBA now?
Oh, I love the direction it's headed.
Yeah.
The women's game as a whole in the past few years, the little petty part of me is like, dang, they making it. But I'm like, yeesh. But on top of that, just the game, the viewership, the participation, the support. Now you have other pro leagues, semi-pro leagues happening. But the WNBA is finally stepping up and doing the little things. Like we're charter flights versus commercial flights. Like, come on, I was shocked, guys. Let me tell y'all something. I will finish answering this question.
Please do.
I got ADHD, so sometimes I got to get this out before I forget. But so in 2008, of course, I'm 4 years spoiled at Tennessee. I'm in Detroit. We get in the itinerary to fly out the next day, and they talking about we got to be at the gym 4 hours early because it's an hour to the airport, and we need to check in 2 hours early. First off, check in. What is that? we don't pull up to the plane. So I'm very happy for all the women in the WNBA and all the future young ladies that will be a part of it, that they get to feel like a pro, how it should have been. And that separation. And I hope it continues to grow. I hope, the pay, the salary continues to grow up, the opportunities continue to grow because it's great for women's basketball.
That was one of the things I was going to bring up was the actual dollars and cents when it comes to men's sports and women's sports. To me, when I look at the WNBA, and which I would prefer to watch over the NBA. To be honest, it looks they play harder. It's more teamwork. It seems like just the whole thing. And I'm not even a basketball player, but I would prefer to watch the WNBA because of the work that they put in. The question, like, at what point in time do you think that there's going to be a reasoning, somebody's going to come in and say, okay, look, we got to up this money like right now. Like, what do you think is holding it back? Why is, because I think everybody publicly thinks it should be as close way closer to the NBA or as equal to. Like, are we wrong on that?
No, absolutely not wrong on that, especially if you're looking at the money that's being thrown around for NIL.
I didn't. That's a great point because I didn't even look at that as a point, as a thought.
Yeah, because you can't say the money's not out there, right?
Wow.
Amen.
So I'm unsure how to fully answer that question because it just comes down to do it. The people that have the money, the people that have the power and the position, do it. So until they stop the conversation and make it about action, it's going to just continue to climb in increments rather than just take off. But the good part about it is the conversation is so loud now, you can't turn it down, right? We're in the era of social media, instant information. So it's harder for people to sell dreams in a sense of, oh, yeah, this would be a great idea. And we know that the WNBA needs more money. Okay, so why are we not investing in this? Why are we not supporting it? Why are we not helping to raise the bar, the salary caps, and all that good stuff? So until just words become action, I don't have a better answer for you, to be honest.
Hollis, you have a question?
Yeah, just like I said, you mentioned that you play soccer. A lot of times when we talk about on the show, we talk about, particularly what Coach Lee does in his day job as far as developing youth athletes. What I always notice about you, and I remember you playing soccer, and I also remember, you just accolades on the basketball court. How important was it in your early development just to be an athlete, then kind of focusing that into being a great basketball player?
Man, it's important because how you do anything is how you do everything. So it doesn't matter what I'm playing or what I'm doing. If I think it's a competition, which almost everything is to me. I want to learn it. Teach me. I want to learn it. Now I want to try it, and now I want to master it or dominate it. So, especially in the sport world, and I'm the younger sister. My brother and I were 15 months apart, so I'm trying to keep up with him, do what he does, and also, you know what I mean. And then growing up in the bottom in Dunbar and the Moab, it's just like you can't be soft. You can't. If I want to play with the boys, I gotta want to compete and beat the boys. So it just came down to like, I want to beat the boys. I don't want to be the best girl. Like, I want to be the best out here. Right. So that was soccer. That was basketball. And soccer obviously is an advantage when it comes to conditioning, agility, right, footwork, even court vision, because in angles, if I can make certain passes on a soccer field, what am I going to do in 94 feet? That's an easy money. That's
nice. So, yeah, I think about it like that. So what is Alexis Hornbuckle up to nowadays? What's going on now?
Oh man, nowadays I have mental performance coaching for pro athletes. I've been doing that for about 4 years now.
Now what is that? Explain that.
So mental performance coaching is exactly what it sounds. So, you have your strength and conditioning coaches, your physical therapists, your athletic trainers, right? The people that put you through your physical training. And so on the mental part, it's the mental training aspect of it. We know that all sports or success in and of itself is about at least 80% mental, right? 20% physical performance. So if I can train my mind, if I can get those muscles right, if I can figure out my triggers, like why do I have negative self-talk, or if I'm dealing with imposter syndrome or intrusive thoughts or lack of focus, it's giving people tools. Sometimes it's as simple as, pause and pray, meditate, being intentional about mindfulness, whether that's reading books, taking walks, whatever it is that you like to do outside of your sport, but also daily routines, vision boards, setting goals. And then what type of athlete are you? Like, are you more of an outcome goal person and you succeed and thrive well in that? Or are you more of a process goals person? So do you care about the finish line? Like, I just need to be number one, right? Or for you to really perform to get to number one, do you need to focus on the process goals? So in order for me to be number one, what do I have to do, right? So, and every athlete is different. There's foundations and fundamental tools and things that we share with our athletes, but it's more about breaking that down and finding that right road so that mental performance elevates their sport performance.
That's awesome. Man.
That's great.
And you know what's interesting to me, as you were going through that list, I was sitting here thinking like, gosh, I can remember writing on a piece of paper, first team all conference, first team all state, North-South football game for my senior year. And you do work toward that. But I don't know if kids buy into that now. Like, I don't know if they understand, like, writing something down, saying it every day, looking at it every day. That makes you work. Like, because, like, you're going to put some work in if those are the things that, because you can't just put that on your wall
and walk away.
And walk away and do nothing and just sit at the kitchen table, like, chilling. You got to put work in. And I don't know if today's kids, young athletes, understand the importance of saying who and what you want to be.
Right.
Would you? I was going to say, do you agree with that? Because, where do you get? How do we get that to them now? Like, my mom, my dad didn't necessarily have to get that. They didn't have to drive that in me. It was something that I think came with me.
Right.
And then they magnified it in every area. Make sure you get your school. Make sure you get up and you get out there and run and do those kinds of things. Is that something that's lost now, or are we just are we missing it, overlooking it, or what?
It's definitely lost in a sense of the majority of the kids being able to have it in them or do it on their own. They're having to be taught. Even the parents are having to be taught, really. And I think that's necessary. One of the reasons we partner with the YMCA here in East Tennessee, and we actually started implementing programs into local high schools. So where my business partner and I, we go in with one of the YMCA reps, and we talk to them with the coaches in there, and we get them a game plan for the mental aspect, the affirmations, the list of gratitude, the routines.
That's cool.
And we teach them how to use it, why to use it, journaling. And it goes on for about 4 weeks or so. And it's imperative for them to understand everybody's good as you continue to get to higher levels, right?
Yeah.
So what's going to separate you apart? And everybody wants to be, well, I'll be faster than everybody. I can out-jump everybody. No, because somebody's going to be able to still run and jump as fast and as high as you. So what's going to set you apart? It's going to be your mindset, your mental resilience, your mental toughness. How do I bounce back? How do I pivot? How quickly can I adapt? And when I am really pissed off or I'm playing terrible, like, what do I do in these times? You know what I'm saying? And the earlier you can learn these skills and tools and start to implement them, like intentionally practice them, then as you continue to elevate at collegiate and pro level, it's like walking. It's second nature.
That's
it's just in you. It's who you are. So I think, it's much needed. It's missing and it's much needed. So y'all holler at me. Go to AlexisHornbuckle.com. Reach out. Hit me on any of my socials. We'll figure it out, because the company I work with, we do schools, organizations, teams. We've expanded just from pro league teams to all of what I just mentioned.
Yeah, give them the website one more time.
AlexisHornbuckle.com.
Yeah, man. Y'all reach out, man.
Hey, if you go to Let's Talk with Carl Lee on my Facebook page, send me some of that information, and hey, I'll shoot it out there.
Absolutely, I appreciate that.
Yeah, because for a fact, that is the most critical piece of anybody's hope for success. Not even to get to success, but a hope to even have it.
And I would say, in addition to athletics, just even in your professional career, because you can have all the things she talked about, the negative self-talk, the imposter syndrome. You can have that, as you elevate and climb the quote-unquote corporate ladder. So everything you said is vital and definitely important. And I'll say this before we close out. We got the Carl Lee Award for the best defensive back in high school West Virginia. Do we got Alexis Hornbuckle?
Hey, no, but we need to go ahead and get it.
We got that. I think
let's do it.
I think we got to start.
Hey, I gotta talk to Boss Man. You know what I'm saying? That's her cousin is Sean Hornbuckle, delegate Sean Hornbuckle.
Oh, okay.
So I call him Boss Man. So I got to talk to Boss Man. We got to put that together. We got to do that.
Yes.
But this is my problem. This is my problem with what we don't do for athletes that come out of here. Like that's an easy, simple thing.
I done got this man on his soapbox.
I'm here now. That is my complete fight. Is because for every kid, they're going to look at somebody. That may be you. That may be me. That may be Hollis. That may be Lisa. That may be anybody. You got to celebrate that achievement. And you got to put it out there to people to see.
Yeah, we got to do that.
Well, I mean,
we got to do that.
And we just haven't done it. Yeah. We get mad at people. We get mad at Kurt Warner because he don't come back. But he still was the number 1 draft pick in the league. You still got, and he was the best back in the nation out of high school from Pineville, West Virginia. You got to put that out there so people
they got
can
the
get
award
it.
now. They got the award now.
They do have
All
it.
right, that's just I'm touchy about that kind of stuff because I don't think we do a good job of allowing our young athletes to understand who came before them and who you can be.
See, if Prime was saying, but Prime already got his son jersey retired quick.
Exactly.
Smart, right?
We're dragging our feet here.
Yeah, we dragging off him.
Oh, no.
Hey, well, we truly appreciate you being on, and I'm
Thank you,
sure that
Lexi.
there's a chance we may try to call you back sometime soon.
Thank you, Alexis.
All right.
Thank
All right.
you.
Good.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Now, I'm gonna just. I got to throw this out there. I just got to throw this out there. Okay. Is there any possible way that there should not be something with her name on it?
Oh, is there not?
I
would think there would be an
definitely have to
award
check,
for
but
women's.
I don't think it is because if you look at her
There's-
and Renee Montgomery, it's got to be. It should be something.
Right.
I'm not sure.
Do the boys basketball? Do they have a
Yeah,
type
they got the awards.
like named after a player
Yeah,
though?
it's but I don't know if they have I don't even know if they got a Jerry West award, which is insane.
Right.
Because we got
Insane.
Jerry West,
Right.
you got Hot Rod Hundley, because you got two
Yeah.
West Virginia Charleston High touts is the only school with 2 #1 draft picks. So I forget the gentleman in the fit. I'm gonna look that up.
Jason Williams, that's another one that went
We
to
got
the
the Randy
NBA.
Moss Award.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but when you say Alexis Hornbuckle, I'm talking about she's arguably the greatest high school basketball player to ever come out of this state. And to your point, she won a championship in college the same year she
Right.
won a WNBA
That's-
championship in one single year.
And
Yeah.
she plays at a school for 2 years. Now state championship, goes to another school and a state championship for 2 more.
And go to college national
Yeah.
championship.
And go to college.
And WNBA championship.
She's got a little bit of hardware
Yeah,
in her
There's
house.
there's a common denominator in those championships.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course.
So we got to look
Undeniable.
in. We definitely want to look into that, see if there's anything.
Sure, there should be.
And if it's not, we got to start petitioning that.
Well, one of the things I think, I don't know if it'll happen, if we could find a way to get people to come on the show who are part of the recognition piece of it. I'm not going to say people who actually do it because they're not going to come because they're not going to try to justify why they don't. But I mean, how do we find a method of
Well, you got the inside scoop. You got a award at the end.
You're the guy with the show, the name of the show. So.
He got the Carl Lee
Yeah,
Award.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, but to the Carl Lee Award, I so appreciate it. I ain't know nothing about it.
And that's crazy.
I didn't know anything about it. Like nobody called me. Nobody said,
What?
"Hey, we're going to do this." I did not know anything about it.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, if you're going to, for example, if you give out those awards, because I know they do the athletic state dinner generally in the winter after the football season. It's like, why wouldn't you invite you to
Exactly.
that to actually present the award? I don't understand how we do things.
And let me just say this: if by some chance I missed a call or whatever, and somebody attempted to try to get to me, I may have missed you. Okay, but I didn't know. I literally did not know that
wild.
that was even going to be a thing.
That's wild.
All right, so let's take a break and we will be right back.
Let's face it, bad things happen to good people. Seriously injured in a car accident, trucking accident, or even wrongfully arrested. Life happens, and when it happens to you, you will need sound legal advice and aggressive representation. That's when you call attorney Frank Walker at 304-413-0179. That's 304-413-0179. Lock it in your phone, text it to a friend. 304-413-0179. Or visit online at attorneyfrankwalker.com.
Let's Talk with Carl Lee is proudly presented by attorney Frank Walker. Visit frankwalkerlaw.com. Share your thoughts, ask questions, or suggest topics on our Facebook page. Just search for Let's Talk with Carl Lee. And don't forget to like the page to join the conversation. Catch past episodes anytime at WCHSnetwork.com/Let's Talk. And tune in Thursday nights at 7 or Sunday evenings at 8 for Let's Talk with Carl Lee. Now, back to the conversation.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Guys, guy and lady, that was one of the interviews that I will not forget, for the simple fact of so many positive things that she said about work ethic, her own work ethic, and all those kinds of things, the things that she had to do, and where they put her, and when you put wherever she went, championships went with her.
Yeah,
she didn't go. Yeah, she didn't go anywhere where there was a championship. She went and made a championship.
Right.
And I think when you start looking at that type of talent, you look at that type. I can't even imagine the mindset that she would have on the floor. She ain't losing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
She said that. She's very competitive.
Yeah.
You can hear it.
And you can hear it in her voice. You can hear it in her voice.
Uh-huh.
All right. So
speaking of competitive.
So this is a topic that I'm not necessarily I'm not sure how this is going to go between me and Hollis. Aaron Rodgers. Mm-hmm. Okay. He said.
Should we play the clip?
Well, yeah. Let's yeah. You got the clip for us? All right. Yeah. Let's play the clip.
I told every single one of the teams I talked to, it ain't about the money. I play for 10 M's. I don't care. I never once said I need a multi-year deal, $30, $40 million. That's absolute bullshit. I said I play for 10. Yeah, whatever.
I'm just going to start this conversation now before we talk about the amount of money, the dollars and cents of it. I mean, this is not a good look for Aaron Rodgers. This whole sympathetic figure, woe is me, I'll play for 10 million and just the whole victim outlook that he's trying to, that vibe, that is not him. And to me, he's losing credibility. I don't know about you guys, but
I think in his mind, I think this is a pity party now.
Yeah.
Where before, I'm going to play. Yeah, I can play. I can still play. The question, 10, you throw 10 mil out. And in today's game, that's not a lot.
Not for a quarterback.
Not for a
starting quarterback, yeah.
But what if let's assume, the reason why he hasn't gotten a contract, okay, is because nobody thinks that he's really prepared. He's not, I don't want to say prepared. He just doesn't have it anymore. Mm-hmm. So if I give you 10, the one thing I guarantee you this, it's going to be guaranteed 10.
Yeah.
So now you want to guarantee me 10. I want you to guarantee me $10 million. And I'm not sure. I don't even know if I can play.
Yeah. And just for that clip, just a little context, basically what happened was he was in California, he flew across the country, he met with the Jets, and the new Jets coach, Aaron Glenn, basically just told him, hey, we're going in a different direction. He was a little perturbed because he said, you could have told me that over the phone. But I guess the question I would have, if you're the Steelers, and I think that's who's the Steelers or the Vikings, that's who's talking about possibly him joining the squad. What why? I just don't understand. You again, I've talked about it before. This is a different game as far as the type of quarterbacks that we see winning and getting deep playoff runs. We're looking at more athletic quarterbacks, movement, who can move and actually run the ball. And then you're not a Tom Brady where you're not like this revered team guy, this fearless leader who's doing everything possible. He's eating all the little bird stuff and doing all the new innovative exercise. You're not that guy. You're not Tom Brady. So if I'm an organization, why, even at $10 million, which is a bargain, quote unquote, for a quarterback of maybe his caliber, why go that way? Why not just either get somebody I can develop or just get somebody in the draft or draft somebody who's, in their 20s? I just don't understand why you would even bring him in at this point. He clearly, to your point, he's kind of wishy-washy about whether he wants to play or not. And he's clearly not the same player he was when he was with Green Bay.
Does anybody think he can sit on the sideline?
No.
And just be there.
No, and that's
but
something.
You're not bringing him in for that. He's not the mentor type.
Right.
He's not the. He could be helpful.
No, he can't.
But
I don't believe so.
But mentally, he can't be. But I'm just saying, skill set.
I think his ego gets in the way of that. I think that would be too much to ask of him. And the latest thing that I saw just a few hours ago, which came out on social media, I think it might have been Twitter, that the reason he has not committed to a team yet is because he's waiting on the draft to see, to make a decision on where he goes, because he wants to make sure whatever team he attaches his name to, he is the starter. He does not want to be behind another name. So that's the reason that he's holding out on a commitment. He's not close. He won't come out and say, I'm going to go play here or there, or, I'm committed to fill in the blank, whatever team it is. It's still, he thinks it's Mr. Rogers' neighborhood and we're all here to serve him. And I loved him when he was in Green Bay. I'm a big Packer fan. We all know that. Giggles from Carl over there, Mr. Vikings. But I'm a Packer fan. And I, he at that time when they went to that Super Bowl and won, that was the style of play that a quarterback could be successful. Yeah. But like you said, the game has left him. It's changed, and he's gotten older. Yeah. But in his mind, he can't wrap or grasp the fact that all of those things are playing a factor into whether or not he can continue his career. He just can't accept the time to go.
Yeah, and I think most great athletes probably have a hard time with that. We look at boxers and all that. I'm just saying, my comment is just like for a coaching staff or the organization, why in the world would you bring him in? To me, it's almost zero upside. It's no upside to bring him in my mind. He's not a great leader,
especially after the Jets.
He's older.
I'm gonna agree with you on that, Hollis, simply because to your point, when you look at him and you listen to him, what you hear, he's not saying he's coming in as a backup.
Oh no!
And I think the Vikings had said something about like maybe having him in and then having him, so that you've got experience coming off the bench in case somebody gets hurt or whatever. That ain't what he wants. And to me, it's clear that he's looking for a starting job. And he's not mobile enough. There's just no way he's going to be mobile enough. I just don't think I think there's a place and time where you have to say that your game is done.
Yeah.
I did it. A whole host of people did it. And there's a whole host of people on the other side who just can't let the game go.
And do you really think he would risk going out there playing for just $10 million? I know that's not a lot, and that's.
I think he definitely would, like you just said, his ego. I mean, I think his in his mind,
he wants to prove everybody wrong.
He wants to win another Super Bowl. He wants to at least get there. And I think in his mind, it's just I have to get there. But I think even to that point, even everything can leave you physically. But if you're a quarterback and you're just not like a absolute great leader that other men want to follow. Even if you lack some physical abilities, even if it could put some running backs around you, they could probably make up. He still has a good ball. He can still sling it.
So he's probably really good at it.
They could probably, fill some holes for everything that he lacks. But I just think on top of what you lack physically and that you've proven over these years that you're just not a great leader, not somebody that other men want to follow. To me, it's over. I would go young if I was the organization. That's just me.
He's not a backup. He's not going to be a backup. He's not going to go anywhere. I don't think.
No, he won't. That's why he's waiting for the draft.
Yeah.
I mean, he will not. He won't even attach to the Steelers, who've pursued him probably the most or the hardest, as compared to other NFL teams. And he won't even like he did fly to Pittsburgh and talk to management. From what I understand, it was kind of a funny story. It was part of the interview with Pat McAfee, because I happened to be in the kitchen and I heard his voice and I was like, oh boy, what's he doing? So I kind of listened to the interview, but he flew into Pittsburgh. He flew into an outside airport rented an Impala and drove over to meet with the Steelers management, but he wouldn't make a commitment. So to me, they must have said something along the lines of, we're going to wait and see what we do in the draft, what's available. And that's why he wouldn't commit, because he will not sit on the sidelines. He's already made that clear.
But see, that lack of commitment to them then might be, that's it.
Well, sure. I mean, it should be, in my opinion.
I would think when I look at him, let me rephrase that. When I think about all he's been through, the years that he's played, and I'm trying to figure out what can he bring to me now. He could help me by being around young quarterbacks,
yes,
explaining to them all of these kind of things. But there is none of that in him.
No.
I think
he doesn't play second well.
No. I think his whole existence is playing. His whole existence is, I am great. It is difficult. It is challenging to consider yourself playing at an elite level and then all of a sudden finding yourself like realizing physically, mentally, emotionally, all of those things that you just don't have it. Like you just can't find it. Like you just, I wish I had it. I wish I still had it, but I don't. And there are those people, which I think he is that guy, who is overlooking all of those messages that are pointing out to him, that are saying to you.
It's really kind of sad.
It really is. I think it's worse that he even said, because in that clip, it's a lengthy kind of a clip. That statement that he's making, to me, I think that just makes you look bad, man.
That's just the problem. Yeah.
Because you don't really, like, you're not looking at it. Like, you don't really know. Like, you don't really know where you are at this point.
It's like he's going to these teams saying, not what can I do for you? It's more like, what can you do for me? And that's not the right team oriented attitude that works well in an NFL setting.
Is there
great the things that make you great also can be the things that make you bad.
Right.
That's true.
That's it.
Any one of you think that, is there any quarterback in the league that's a starter that he could play before?
I think it's a lot. If you're just talking about just pure, maybe if it's, just a 17-game run, but I just think it's bigger than that. I just don't think to me, he could probably come in there and do some things, but I think it would just cost you too much in the end. So I think he could probably go over there, maybe, because if you look at his last year's stats, he threw for 3,000 yards, I think 20, 30 touchdowns. It was a decent season for Aaron Rodgers, but I just don't think long-term is just, to me, it's just
it's the investment, the money.
Investment, the cost analysis of the damage that he could do to a locker room, for me, is just too much. But, I mean, talking about the draft, we talk about Travis Hunter. Now, there's been talks that Travis Hunter is going to be, some people say he's going to be primarily a DB and then play a little bit of receiver. Some people say he's going to be primarily a wide receiver, play a little DB. So what are your thoughts? What do you think he should come in as and sort of supplement as?
I'm going to say I would think he would want to come in as a receiver. I'm going to put him at receiver. Utilize his speed, utilize his quickness, his ability to catch the ball. Because I think if you bring him in as a DB, the question now is, okay, is that going to be a corner? Okay, so
he
now
definitely gonna be a corner.
Yeah. Okay. Well, sometimes they switch it to safety, but
he ain't no safety. He ain't got enough meat on.
I think the problem that he has at corner maybe would be one, is he still got to, there's still the Deion whole kind of thing. Like, everybody's still going to say Deion touched him, right? So he's got to be that good. I don't think he's going to be that good. And I'm not going to say he's not. I'm not going to say, no, wait a minute.
I think he outside of Deion's shadow now. He a Heisman Trophy.
Okay. Okay, but again, I don't know if he gets that if he's not under Deion. I
don't think a coach would probably allow him to do what Deion allowed him to do. But I think if any coach allowed him to do that, I think he's that.
Let me clarify too.
Yeah.
I think he deserved it.
Yeah.
I think he deserved it. I really do. For the fact he could play and legitimately played both ways.
Yeah.
So Lisa?
Oh, no, I was just going to say that, it's kind of been the center of debate for this draft, right? Because he really wants to go to a team that will allow him to play on both sides of the ball. I mean, that's what my understanding is. I mean, he had an interview with a sports reporter from CBS Sports, and he pretty much put it out there that he wants to go to a team that will allow him to explore both sides.
So what do you think? What do you think the primary position would be?
Well, for me,
defense or offense?
I mean, I think for him coming in as a rookie, I think he should start at defense and then slowly let him, kind of be integrated into an offensive scheme.
Yeah, that's the way we've always seen it. We've seen it defense to offense. We've never seen it offense to defense.
See,
that's what I'm saying. I've never seen it that way.
I understand. Yeah. But here's the thing. I'm thinking if I need a receiver, okay, I can get him. And if by some chance he's not good enough, there's another place I can put him.
So you saying receiver would be the easiest transition?
I think so.
So you said that'd be an easier transition than playing DB.
Where are you going to play? Okay, so everybody's got a different kind of scheme, right? Everybody.
I mean, you're going to be out in the island. He's a corner.
Yeah, he's a corner. The question is he a man? Some teams play more man-to-man than others. Can he play man-to-man? We don't necessarily, just because you cover guys in college don't necessarily mean you can cover them in the pros. Again, the piece that we're not thinking about is pro is not college. So everybody's if you look at his stats, you look at his playing, forget it. Forget all that. It's a whole new window.
All right, so let me ask a different question. So usage rate. So let's take that usage rate. Like in college, he was playing 100+ plays a game. Now, obviously, you ain't gonna be doing that in the NFL. But from a usage rate, do you think that he would actually be able to be more durable playing defense and then supplementing, 1-2
coming
plays
in
a series?
on four receivers, three receivers.
Because
exactly
I'm saying if you're playing offense, I mean, again, defense, y'all do a ton of running, but it's a different level of running straight ahead. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like you said, if you're playing a zone, it's different, right? So if you're doing all that running as a receiver, then on the next series you're gonna come in here and play DB. I don't know.
See, here's and I understand exactly what you're saying, and I'll even concede a little bit to it. But what I will say is, here's the problem with it. To me, if he's a receiver, okay, he's got the ability to catch the ball, run, all of that kind of stuff. When he starts playing DB, now that the physicality of that side of it is now on him.
Because you got to tackle running backs.
You got to come in and you got to tackle running backs. You got to tackle some big receivers. You got to hit a tight end. You got to take on a lineman. That type of punishment.
Yeah.
So you saying like doing that full time and then supplement receiver would be harder?
Yes.
But okay, so another question. So if you say, okay, he's going to come in as a receiver, that's going to be the primary position. At what point do you pit him as a DB?
Nickel and dime when they're getting ready to throw the ball. If he's such a great cover, maybe I put him on the best receiver. I put him on the slot guy. So to me, I see it that way. I see him more in that situation, because I'm gonna make the case he's gonna be as talented. Because when you play dime, which is 4 corners, he's going to be as good as one of the. He's going to be one of those 4.
I'll give you that.
Okay, so when you play nickel, you got 3. He's probably going. He very well could be in those 3. So now, but he might be one of your top receivers.
I mean, it definitely probably going to be in the top 5 because receivers, you're going to play 5 and 6 receivers in a game.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's going to be a real challenge. Whatever franchise picks him up, I mean, you think about it. I mean, he's going to go in the first round, and he's going to go for a significant amount of money. So whatever team picks him up, they're going to have to find a way to protect their assets and protect their player. So you're going to,
and they probably got a plan.
Yes.
They may
Well, I
have
would
a
think
plan.
they
Well,
would.
he's going to Cleveland, so I don't know if they got a plan. I don't know.
Now that you said that.
I don't know. That's where he's going. Yeah, so I don't know.
And see, and again, to that point,
Man.
this is like the number 1 quarterback going to the worst team.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And now you're putting yourself in a situation. So now the question goes, I go back to your answer and say, I don't want to be a receiver because do you have a quarterback for me? Let me be a DB.
That's what, and I guess that's my point.
Yeah, I can see it on that side.
When you look at usage rate,
Yeah.
and the thing is, if you have a bad offense, then to your point, you're going to be getting beat up because you got to cover the receiver, you got to tackle, you got to take on blocks, you got to do a lot as a DB. Then I got to come in there and I'm running empty routes because maybe I got a bad offensive line or my quarterback's not seeing me. And my usage rate's going to be high, but maybe my production is not going to be able to match it depending on where I'm going. So I think, to me, I would almost circle it back. You want to do what you do, and I understand that, but maybe it also depends on where you land at.
That may be
that's
true.
a good point. Yeah.
That
And what
may
kind
very
of
well be
personnel
true.
are surrounding you?
Right.
What kind of players? But, I mean, don't you guys agree, too, that it's the NFL, it's not college? Okay, he did phenomenal at Colorado, playing both sides of the ball. But when you get to that level at the NFL, you've got to kind of hone in on what your specific position is and just focus on that. And so you can be the best player that you can be at that position. I mean, especially if you want to, if you have Hall of Fame, dreams and aspirations, you got to be good at one thing and really, really be good at it. Does that make sense?
Here's a question. I think maybe Deion might have played some snaps.
I'm about to go there.
Yeah, he might have played a couple snaps at receiver, but where do we know him as? We know him as a DB.
Right.
DB.
Right.
Kick returner.
But I mean, if you get to your point earlier, when you got the Deion foot, because I don't know if it's a Deion shadow as much as it is a Deion influence. Because Deion, he played DB, he played receiver, also played baseball.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, in Travis Hunter's mind, he's thinking, well, heck, if Deion played baseball and football, I can at least play 2 positions just playing football. And so he may be thinking like that too.
And it's justifiable because he's right there. He's right there with them.
Right.
But I'm gonna make, like I said, man, Jerry Rice, great receiver. He just played receiver.
Yeah.
Andre Rison, Andre Reed, Sterling Sharp, all those dudes. Every good receiver I know played receiver. And I bet you they played DB at some point.
Yeah, but not at
the NFL level, right?
But I'm just saying, maybe in high school, they may have played, played both ways, but they became one thing. If this is new, this would be the newest thing to add to professional football, a two-way guy. And I think Deion would love that to happen to his boys.
I just don't know how you, like I said, I mean, to your point, I mean, even if you look at modern receivers, look at the Randy Moss and Calvin Johnsons and different things of that nature, I just don't know how you play receiver and if you're a starting receiver, or if you're in the top, basically if you're in the top 5, which basically means you're a starting receiver pretty much.
Right.
If you're in the top 5 rotation, you may be the 5th guy. That means you're going to come in probably almost every series at some point. I don't know how you do that, and then you play DB. We've never seen that before. If he can pull that off, I mean, and then again, how long can you pull that off?
Yeah, that's another good point.
To that very point, they're going to test this. They're going to
somebody will.
Yeah, they're going to test this. They're going to want to see what he can actually do. If I just don't think it's going to be sustainable.
Yeah, and the cerebral part of it, you're learning so many more complex plays and routes that you did compared to college. I mean, that's a lot to have to learn and, perform on the field. So that's another part of it besides the physical.
And we've seen this before. Like you've seen like the Cordell Stewarts, right? But he played multiple positions on offense.
Right.
You've seen Dick Vrabel, Frank Vrabel. He's a coach now. We've seen him. He was a linebacker, and he would come in on the goal line packages. You've seen Taysom Hill in New Orleans. But again, the way he's talking about doing it is unprecedented for modern football, at least.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad if he's successful at it. I don't want to hate on him. I would rather him, because again, when you start looking at all of the situations that come with football, all the contact that comes with football. Now, it's not as bad as it used to be, but it's still going to be out there. But now, if you're playing on both sides of the ball enough to where you're getting the ball, you're getting hit, you're over on the other side tackling, getting hit, or hitting somebody.
Right.
That is not a safety issue. I mean, now you what you're doing is you're just asking for some kind of damage.
Yeah.
It's just too many
double
plays.
the risk.
Yeah. There's just too many plays there. And I just don't, I hope he doesn't. I don't hope he can't. I hope he just doesn't do it. And I just don't think there's not a reason to do it other than just to say you did it or you were the first to do it and all that, and the credit falls all over the place. But by the time he plays 6, 7, 8 years, then what?
Yeah.
That's going to be the question. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed the show. We're going to get out of here, and we'll be back again next week.
Let's Talk with Carl Lee is proudly presented by attorney Frank Walker. Visit frankwalkerlaw.com. Share your thoughts, ask questions, or suggest topics on our Facebook page. Just search for Let's Talk with Carl Lee. And don't forget to like the page to join the conversation. Catch past episodes anytime at WCHSnetwork.com/Let's Talk. And tune in Thursday nights at 7 or Sunday evenings at 8 for Let's Talk with Carl Lee.
If you fall, dust it off and get back up on your feet. Anything could be a win, yup, even defeat. They say sugar bad for you, why is victory sweet? Couldn't play with big kids, I had to sit in the street and watch from a distance, but over time I grew. If I put in the work, in no time I'm due. Everything that I worked and prayed, I'm okay. If you ask me, how did I do it, I'm gon' say you gotta work, grind, shine, it's mine. Gotta show everybody it's my time. Getting here, you gotta work, grind, shine. Never mind who talking down, cause they lying. Don't talk, you gotta work. 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 You gotta work.